Hey mathematics learners, welcome to Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. On today's video tutorial, we are still going through the grade 12 mathematical literacy paper 1 that was written in June 2022. And in today's video tutorial, guys, we are going to be focusing on question 2.2. And in question 2.2, guys, it's basically still finance, right? Because we're going to be calculating the total cost that Mrs. Bongiwe pays for her twins' school fees, taking into consideration the different discounts that she is given, right? The different percentage discounts that she is given, right? So before we get started with today's video tutorial, guys, please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Please make sure that you click on that notification bell so that you get notified every single time I upload a new video tutorial, guys. And also, please don't forget to click on that like button, right? Because that really helps the channel grow and it helps the channel to reach more learners that want to better their mathematics marks, right? And if you also want to support the channel, right, please also click on that thanks button, right? And that's a way that you can also say thank you and show that you also appreciate the content that I am making for you guys, right? So without any further ado, guys, let's get started with today's video tutorial. Right, so like I mentioned in today's video tutorial, guys, we're going to be tackling question 2.2, right? And in question 2.2, we are still under the topic of finance. We're going to be calculating the total cost that Ubongiwe needs to pay towards her twins' school fees, right? So let's get started. Bongiwe has twins, Sandile and Sakile, who attend a private school. The total fees payable per child for the school year, January to November, is as follows, right? So we're told that the school year is from January to November, okay? And these are the total fees payable per child for the school year, right? So Mrs. Bongiwe pays charges for aftercare, and there are 7,700 per school year, right? Or you can just say 700 monthly. The first child's school fees is 2,793 per month, or when you calculate it per school year, it is 30,723. She is given a 10% discount on school fees to her second child, okay? A further 7.5% discount is given if the school fees is paid in full by the 31st of January, right? And the monthly transport cost is 929, right? So this is the information that we are going to use to calculate the total cost of the school fees that Mrs. Bongiwe pays per child, right? And as well as in total, okay? So let us have a look at the information or the questions, right? Question 2.2.1. Calculate the total transport costs for the twins for a full school year, right? So we're going to basically focus on the information that was given here. We are told that the monthly transport cost is 929, right? And we are told that this information is for each child pays 929. Okay, so how do we calculate the total transport cost for the twins for a full school year? Question 2.2.1, right? Okay, so the total transport cost per school year, right, is equal to that 929 Rand, right, multiplied by 2, because she's got 2 children that will be obviously using the transport, and multiplied by how many months are there per school year, right? So here we are told that the school year runs from January to November, right? So if she pays transport for January, February, March, April, all the way up to November, how many months do we have in a school year, right? So we can see that here we've got 11 months, right, in a school year, meaning that Mrs. Lamini pays transport for her twins, right, for 11 months. Okay, so times it by the 11 months, right? So if you take 929 rand and you multiply it by 2 and you multiply it by 11, you'll find that the total transport cost per year for the twins is equal to 20,438 rand, and 20,438 rand. Okay, so that is the total that Mrs. Lamini pays for transport for her twins. Okay, next question 2.2.2. Bongiwe intends on paying the school fees in full on the 30th of January, right? So Mrs. Bongiwe Lamini wants to basically pay, or she intends on paying the school fees for her twins in full, right, on the 30th of January. We need to determine the total amount of money that Ubongiwe will spend in one school year for the twins to attend the private school, including aftercare and transport, right? So we need to use this information that is given to us to calculate how much Ms. Bongiwe Dlamini is going to pay for Usandile and how much she's going to pay for Usakile for one school year, right? So I'm going to basically separate the payments. I'm going to calculate how much she pays for the first twin, right? How much she then pays for the second twin, and then I'm going to add up the total costs so that we get how much she pays in total, right? So we're going to start off with Usandile. We're going to say that Usandile is the first twin, and then we're going to go over to Usakile, and then I'm going to say that he is the second twin. Okay, so let's get started. Right, so Usandile is the first twin and Usakile is the second twin, right? So I'm basically just doing this so that you guys are able to follow and see what is going on here, right? So we're going to start off by calculating the first fees, right? Or the fees for Usandile. Okay, so let's have a look. So we can see that, okay, we're going to first start off by calculating the aftercare, right? Then we're going to go over to see how much she pays for the school fees. And then we're also going to calculate how much she pays for the transport, okay? But we already calculated how much she pays for the transport, okay? And then we're going to add up all those fees, okay? So let's see. We are told that charges for the aftercare is 7,700 per school year, or 700 monthly, okay? So we know that for Usandile, she is going to pay 7,700 for aftercare. Okay, how did they get that 7,700? They just simply took the 700 and they multiplied it by 11. Okay, then how much is she going to pay towards the first twin's school fees, right? So we are told that the first child's school fees, right, is 2,793 per month, right? Or you can say that it's 30,723 per school year, right? So she's gonna pay that 30,723 rand per school year. And how did they get that? They just simply took that 2,793 and they multiplied by 11 to get how much she needs to pay per school year. However, right, we are given additional information here. We are told that a 7.5% discount is given if the school fees are paid in full by the 31st of January, right? Remember, we're given information here that Mrs. Bongiwe intends on paying the school fees in full on the 30th of January, right? So because she's going to be making or paying her school fees in full, or her son's school fees in full on the 30th of January, she is going to get a 7.5% discount on, right, the school fees. Okay, so we're going to calculate that 7.5% discount. So that is the school fees that she pays for the first twin. However, she is given a discount, right, of 7.5% because she obviously makes she pays the school fees in full on the 30th of January, right? So how do you calculate that discount? So if she gets 7.5% discount of the total amount that she pays for her school fees, her son's school fees, right? How much is that, right? How do we calculate that? Okay, remember, if you say 7.5% of 30,723, we know that we're just going to take that 7.5% and you multiply it by 3723, right? So if you punch that into your calculator, you'll find that she received a discount of 2,304 rand 0.225 cents, right? So that is the discount that she received for obviously paying the school fees before the 31st of January, right? So we still need to subtract this discount, right, from the 30,723 to get the total school fees that she pays for the first twin, right? So therefore the total school fees, right, for the first twin is equal to that 30,723 minus the discount of 7.5, right? And that is 2,304 rand 0.225. I'm going to round off my final answer. Okay, so if you punch that into your calculator, you'll find that the total school fees for the second twin is equal to 28,418.78 cents. Okay, so now we've already calculated the total that she pays for aftercare for the first twin. We've already calculated the total school fees that she paid for the first twin. So all we need to do is calculate how much transport fees for the first twin, right? And we already know that Mrs. Lamini pays 929, right, for the transport cost per twin, right? So we're just gonna take that 929 and obviously multiply that by 11, okay, to get how much is the transport costs for the first twin. And if you punch that into your calculator, you'll find that the transport for the first twin is 10,219 rand. Okay, so all that we need to do now is just add up all the costs for Usandile, right? So the total costs for Usandile is equal to the aftercare fee that he pays of per year of 7,700, okay, plus the school fees, including the 7.5% discount, right? And that is basically 28,418.78 cents, right? That is the total school fees that Mrs. Lamini pays towards Usandile, right? And the transport costs, right? And the total for the transport for Usandile is 10,219. Okay, so we can already see that this lady is spending, right, towards her son's school fees, right? So we're going to take that 7,700 plus 28,418.78 plus 10,219. If you punch that into your calculator, you'll find that the total costs for Usandile amount to 46,337.78 cents, right? So we're done with the first twin. Let's go on to the second twin, right? What are his costs? Okay, so for the second twin, guys, the aftercare is still the same, okay, because we told that the charges for aftercare is still 7,700 per school year. And we already know how they got that 7,700. They took the monthly fee for the aftercare and they multiplied by the 11 months. Then let's go on to the total school fees that the second twin pays, right? So here, guys, we are given information here, right? They told us that, okay, the first child's school fees is 2,793 per month or 30,723 per school year, right? And we are told that a 10% discount on school fees is given to a second child, right? So So the school fees for the second child, we know that obviously they pay 30,723, right? However, we are told that the second child receives a discount of 10%. Okay, so we need to calculate 10% of 30,723 rand. Okay, so let's do that. So 10% of 30,723, right? If we see that of, we know that we multiply, right, by 30,723. So if you punch that into your calculator, okay, you'll find that the second twin got a discount of 3,072 rand and 30 cents, right? So that is the discount that Usakhile got on his school fees. So if you take that 30,723 rand and you minus your 3,072 rand and 30 cents, you'll find that he pays 27,650.70 cents, right? However, we are not done. There is still an additional discount that Mrs. Dlamini gets for paying her school fees, right, for her sons early, right? So he gets a further discount from that amount, okay? We are told that a further 7.5 discount is given if school fees are paid in full by the 31st of January. So we still need to also apply that 7.5% discount of the amount that she pays, right, of 27,650.70 cents, right? So 7.5% times it by 27,650.70 cents. If you punch that into your calculator, you'll get that she gets an additional discount of 2,073 rand 0.80 cents, right? So we're not done. We still need to subtract this 2,073 rand and 80 cents from the 27,650, right? Meaning that the total school fees that the second twin pays, right, is that 27,650.70 cents minus that 7.5 discount, that additional discount of 2,000, okay, minus that additional discount of 2,073 rand and 80 cents, right? Meaning that the second twin pays, okay, 25,576.90 cents. Okay, so I'm just going to repeat what we did for the second twin, right? We obviously calculate the aftercare that the second twin pays, which is 7,700. We are fine with that, right? Then we already know that the second twin also pays school fees for 30,723, right? However, we are told that when Mrs. Dlamini obviously has a second child, that second child receives a 10% discount on school fees, right? So we basically need to calculate 10% of this 30,723, right? And we calculated that 10% to be 3,072 rand and 30 cents, right? So we need to minus that 3,072 rand and 30 cents from that 30,723 rand. So we found that after the 10% discount was applied, Mrs. Dlamini paid 27,650.70 cents, right? And then we also needed to obviously calculate that additional discount of 7.5%. What is that discount for? We are told that if she pays her school fees in full by the 31st of January, she gets a 7.5% discount, right? So we are told that she pays her school fees on the 30th of January. So she basically qualifies for that discount because she paid the school fees in full before the 31st of January, right? So we applied that discount of 7.5%. So we found out what is 7.5% of that total school fees that we calculated here, right, which is 27,650.70 cents, right? And we found that the discount that she got was 2,073 rand and 80 cents. Then we had to minus that discount from the 27,650.70 cents, right? And we found that the total school fees that Mrs. Dlamini pays for her second twin is 25,576.90 cents, right? But we're still not done. We still need to calculate what are the transport costs for Usakile, right? And you already know that the transport was 929 per child for transport, and that needs to be multiplied by 11 months, right? And that was equal to 10,219, right? Okay, so we've calculated the amount that she pays for aftercare for the second twin, and we found that to be 7,700, which is still the same, right? We found, or we calculated the total that she pays for the school fees for the second twin, 25,576.90 cents, and we also calculated how much she pays for transport, obviously for the second twin as well, to be 10,219, right? So all that we need to do now is basically add up all these costs, right, together to get the total that she spent in one school year. Okay, so the total spent in one school year, the aftercare cost plus the school fee costs plus the transport costs. Okay, so how much was the aftercare, right? So the aftercare for Usandile is 7,700 and the aftercare for Sakile is 7,700, right? So what are we going to do? We're just going to take that 7,700 and you're going to multiply it by 2. Okay, plus what is the school fees, right? So the school fees for Usandile was 28,418.78 cents. Plus, what was the school fees for Usakile? It was 25,576.90 cents. Plus, what was the transport costs for both of the twins, guys, right? So you can just say that 10,219 times 2, or you can just use this figure that we calculated here of 20,438.0 20,438, right? Because you'll still get the same answer. So I'm going to use that figure there. Okay, so if you basically simplify that further, 7,700 times 2 is equal to 15,400 plus 28,418.78 cents plus 25,576 rand and 90 cents. That will give you 53,995.68 cents, right? Plus, just bring that 20,438 down, okay? To find that the total cost that Mrs. Dlamini pays towards her son's school fees per school year is 89,833 rand and 68 cents, right? Okay, so from the looks of things, these twins are probably attending at Kuro, right? Because wow, this is just too much for school fees, right? So I wanted to basically spend time here so that you guys basically understand how you need to calculate the total costs that Mrs. Dlamini pays towards her son's school fees, right? I thought it was going to be great for me to show you how the costs are calculated for the first twin, and also show you how the costs are calculated for the second twin, right? And then from there, show you guys how we now basically calculate the total costs by adding up the costs for the first twin and then adding up the costs for the second twin, right? So that is it, guys, and I'll see you guys on my next video tutorial. That is it, guys, and I'll see you guys on my next upload, Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. Bye.